So lychee berries kind of fall into the first category I want to tell you about, which is something called Jing. Jing is a energy they say that you're born with. In other words, it's the life force you get from your parents. Your parents, when they came together and formed a union, and at the moment of concept, their energies came together and started to form a new human being and a new meeting of life force in the body. And then for 9 months, your mother carried you and supplied life force from her body directly to you to build a new life. And when you're born, that life force is classified as Jing. And it's kind of like the battery pack that is meant to sustain you throughout your entire life. In Western medicine, you'd call it your the hormones, reproduction, part of your DNA. It's as the human body develops, it becomes part of your skeletal system, your reproductive system. Has to do with all of the glands in the body. It's an energetic system by which all these things are part of. And so Jing is something that the whole idea of moderation was built around in Chinese medicine, because they felt that if you protected that energy and didn't dissipate it inappropriately, that you would have it and you could use it as an energy source for your entire life. And the whole idea of protecting it meant that when you were 50, you had the energy of a 35-year-old. Or when you were 70, you had the energy of a 50-year-old. And you kind of get the point. By protecting this energy and not inappropriately using it up, you actually had more reserves for whatever you wanted to do. And the main way that you lose Jing, this energy, is excessive behavior. Doesn't matter if it's excessive partying. In fact, the whole idea of burning the candle at both ends, that's basically talking about loss of Jing, life force. So inadequate sleep, consuming a very poor diet, one that doesn't supply you with nutrients. All these different things rob your life force. And so they felt that Jing was so important that Chinese medicine basically sprang out of this idea of taking herbs that put it back into your body. So originally when tonic herbalism started as a part of Chinese medicine, it was all about restoring the reproductive system, because they felt that that was the most important part of your body as you aged, and it determined your length of your life and the vitality that you had during this lifetime. Now that's not very different than the theory in Western medicine or nutrition about life force and how the body works in relation to vitamins and minerals. We know now that if you don't have every bit of nutrition that the body requires every single day, if you're missing one particular vitamin and you think, well, that's not a big deal because my body will make up for that. And that's partially true, but the reality is now, through research at the University of California at Berkeley on anti-aging, we now know that if you're missing one single nutrient, your chromosomes can break and they look just like you were exposed to radiation. So think about that. Just by missing a certain nutrient for a few days can start the process by which your chromosomes start to break. And it still goes back, and besides that, it actually means that the body has now taken all its energy, all the nutrients that it does have available, and it moves that energy into your reproductive system, which is what we call Jing, and it moves it into dealing with whatever crisis you have going on at the moment, and it totally shuts off all the DNA repair and all the anti-aging mechanisms in the body. So getting back to how that relates, it's very similar to Jing and how they feel that if you're starting to become deficient in it, if your body is low on its amount of Jing, then it's not going to age properly, and you'll have a more rapid aging. You'll lose certain functions of the body that are related to a particular age, and it might come on to you much earlier in life than it's supposed to. So this whole idea, Jing, is about not becoming worn out and using certain substances, herbs and diet, to supply the body with a rarefied energy that can just be stored for future use. And so that's what Jing is about. And when you hear about it, you often think, well, that's got to be the most important thing in Chinese medicine. But the reality is it's about all three. Now, qi is the one everybody's heard of, and we all know that qi refers to energy, and we think about physical energy. But qi in Chinese medicine means more about blood and physical energy. And if you have a qi tonic, what it means is that it's an herb that influences your digestion and your lung function, and it also is influenced or helps the body build a high quality of blood. So qi tonics are often lumped in with blood tonics, and they're always combined in a formula to make sure that you, when you take them, you maximize the amount of substance you make out of the food that you actually eat. So you can see when I talked about Jing, because part of Jing is adrenal, reproductive, that taking Jing tonics are going to be beneficial for any athlete, because what's the main part about recovery and performance? It all gets back to adrenal and glandular energy. And qi is really important, because qi is how you not only transform the high quality nutrients you're eating every day into energy and high quality blood, but qi is also a description of your physical energy in the moment. So let's say when you take a qi tonic, you're not only influencing how you breathe, you're not only influencing the quality of nutrients you pull out of food and make into other substances, but you're making a rarefied energy that circulates around the body and gives you your supply of physical energy for the day. So taking qi tonics on a regular basis just ensures you that you have more physical energy every day, and that you don't burn out and start running off your Jing or your battery. And this is probably, for an athlete, one of the most important things you could ever learn about Chinese herbs and tonic herbs. And one of the most important things I didn't have a clue about when I was doing triathlons, because I got into herbs after I'd actually stopped. But the body, when it doesn't make enough quality physical energy, or it runs out of energy during the day and you keep pushing it, what happens then is that you kick into your adrenals and you start using your adrenals as an energy source. And that just inappropriately burns up your energy. And so you want to avoid that at all costs. There's a saying in Chinese medicine where they say it's okay to become tired, but you should never become exhausted. Meaning that it's okay to work hard every single day and have a very active lifestyle, and have a, and be smart about it, have a diet that supports that, and programs that support that. But you should never become exhausted, because being exhausted means you've depleted your qi and you're now running off your adrenals. And when you burn up Jing just to get through the day, then that's really the definition of burning the candle at both ends, and eventually you're going to burn out or fry. The whole concept of chronic fatigue and burnout and all this has to do with that you've ignored the amount of stress in your life, you've pushed yourself past the amount of energy that your body physically makes, and you're just running on adrenals and emotional energy for so long that you kind of collapse. And the whole body then loses its ability to actually make energy out of the food and the water that you drink, and it just cannot, it doesn't have the physical energy in the body anymore to make energy. And this is why when I've counseled so many people with chronic fatigue and they've taken herbs, I always tell them, wait 30 days before you give up on anything, because in most instances, people seem to take 30 days if they have chronic fatigue before they feel anything. It takes that long to get the spark back in their system and get it to where they're starting to actually hold on to some of the energy that they're making, and they're starting to pull more of it from the food that they eat. This is a hard to explain or understand concept if you've never had chronic fatigue, but oftentimes, even if you're eating a highly nutritious diet, if you have chronic fatigue, you're actually not absorbing much of it or transforming it into substance that your body can hold on to. And that's why it's so important, and the most important things I've ever seen in the time I've been in the health field for the last 30 years, that impact putting energy back into your glands and your organs is Chinese tonic herbs. And it's all about that concept of Jing and Qi. So now the third class is called Shen tonics. And Shen herbs are more the anti-stress, the type of energy that gives you a calm, clear mind and allows you to be more centered in your heart and out of your head, so to speak. You know how with stress, when you get caught up in stress, it's like you have blinders on and you can't see anything about except what you think needs to be done and where you're going, and you're just so caught up into it. Well, that's someone who's lost their ability to see all sides of everything, and usually that means you're more frustrated and caught up in what you're doing and a little bit angry, and you're not really seeing the picture of how you should be responding in the moment. Well, Shen has to do with opening up your mind, which in Chinese medicine has more to do with your heart than it does your head, and being able to see exactly what you're doing, being able to know when you're overdoing something, when maybe you're not exactly being kind to your family or your friends because you're so caught up in your goals and what you want to do. And taking a Shen tonic is like just taking a breath and stepping back and being able to see with a clear mind what's really in front of you. And that's the best description you can almost have of Shen, is that you have this ability to step back and see what's actually going on in the bigger picture. And oftentimes with athletics, that's so important because it's easy in athletics to get caught up in the next workout and hammering the next thing and just, you got to do this, and not realizing sometimes that the greatest thing you could ever do is take a nap or to step back and just go somewhere and have a meal and relax. But that's all part of Shen. And so you can kind of see why Jing, Qi, and Shen is more of a blend of things, because if you're paying attention to, if let's just say you have good Shen, you're not so stressed out. You're not caught up into doing something. You're not just involved in life, you're actually living a life and seeing the big picture, which causes you to have a little bit more, less tension in your body, more relaxation, which makes it easier for your body to build energy, and it makes it easier for your body to actually store Jing. And this is the concept and where everybody tries to move into with Chinese herbs, is that you can be really physically active and have fun and work out really hard, but pay attention that there's times when you pull back and go into a different phase of rest, and that allows your body to actually hold on to energy and to store energy. And this is the other important thing that a lot of people don't think about with even just eating food, is that when you're not paying attention to your nutrition, and you see this a lot with stressed people, that when you're not paying attention to nutrition and you're living a lifestyle where you're highly involved in athletics, and something as hard as triathlons is a really fun sport, but it's really demanding. So if you're not paying attention to your food, getting adequate calories and the right amount of nutrition, then your body is actually just put into another stressor. And the body is actually reacting to your exercise as a stress. And so by eating poor food, you're actually accelerating things like inflammation, and you're not allowing the adrenals to go into a phase where it actually will heal. You're just instead of going to sleep at night and turning on human growth hormone, or having a really hard workout and where you're doing a lot of sprints and intensity and letting the body release human growth hormone, you're actually just releasing cortisol, and you're basically depleting your entire purpose of what you're trying to do. And so the whole idea of moderation, Jing, Qi, and Shen can be applied to any lifestyle, whether you're just someone who's using it in the concept of dealing with your family or working, or being involved in a really great sport and working out and trying to maximize your potential.